Okay, hello guys, just going to part of my new series, and where I'm just going to, I'm going to show a little bit of a tutorial through, I'm going to be showing off a little bit of a tutorial throughout this game, throughout Kaiser Ducks. So, I'm going to be playing as America because I think it's the most interesting country, because it's away from all the action over here in Europe. It's not going to be getting caught up in these big grind fests over here. It's not going to have to go through Verdun again. It's not going to have to go through Amiens. It's not going to have to go through the hell which is trying to capitulate France, because you got to take everything south of Lyon they got to take everything north of Bordeaux just to capitulate it. It feels like. Then Britain. It's usually pretty easy because the AI doesn't know how to guard its coasts. But if it does, then you're pretty much screwed. You got to use airdrops. So that's gonna be kind of fun. So these are gonna be like short little installments, and there isn't going to be any editing stuff like that. Just because with most, like the problem I see with most HOI4 tutorial things is that people will start off as Germany and say, all right, so first thing you want to do is capitulate Poland, and then they just Poland's gone. The next clip, they'll tell you how to do it. People get stuck there. It might seem like a pretty easy thing to do, but some people struggle on it. So I'm gonna be going through all the steps. So I think I'm gonna be playing this game as the CSA. I'm actually not going to put any national focuses on any research slots. I'm going to be building any factories. I'm just going to leave pretty much well alone until I get all the decisions. Although you can go back and pause and read that if you want. Sorry if I skipped it. If you guys wanted to read it, if you're new to Kaiser Ducks. Kreniski. So for these ones, these are like the ones you got to look out for. These ones with the options, because you can get political power, you can get stability, you can get it minus manpower. It's usually the ones that you want to pick are the ones that help the nation that you're going to select. However, there is another side where as you do that, it does have some kind of counterbalance, where let's say you power up the SPA a bunch, it will sometimes, like whatever, or depending on the event thing you have, it'll also power up the PSA, or it'll also debuff something else where you might want to have an ally, or it might seclude you from something. It might it'll change your outcome depending on your. It's not just like help/hurt. It's not that simple. I'm sure we'll find examples as we go. In this case, I'm just going to not spare anything at the moment because I don't really care about the USA and Hoover at the moment. So I'm just going to be going as a CSA. And the reason I'm not doing any research, any national focuses, is just because that'll help the USA, who will eventually just become my enemy. So it doesn't really, it's not very beneficial. It doesn't really matter much. But if you want to give yourself the challenge, of trying to, go up against a harder USA, something that is a real threat, or more of a threat at least, then go for it. But right now I'm just doing this for people who are new to the game. So I'm gonna go through all of these. And I'm gonna show you the decisions that I picked to get to the SPA, and then I'll end the video, as I'm gonna have them kind of short and sweet, and then I'll pick up the next video where I left off. Show you the little unit tactics which I'll have. Okay, that's actually good for me. Pause this National Unity Agreement. Yeah, you don't get to pick anything there, just pick one. That's fun. The Sorelians. Let me check who those are, if they're who I think they are. Ooh, okay, France is gonna be having a fun game this game with the Todors. Okay, Poland. What are you doing over there, Poland? Just doing democratic things, I believe. Let me see, because it helps if you read them instead of yeah, there we go. Usually the more radical option is the one that'll help you the more, even if it doesn't feel right. because China's exploding as usual, I see. Mind the FPS as they're already having, look at that, another civil war happened right there in front of my eyeballs. Public nomination agreement. Let's go with Curtis, because Curtis has a later thing and it hurts that party more. I might do a later video on the Lingguang, because it's a pretty fun nation to play as, although it's almost impossible, I think, to win as. I've never won as them before. Haven't seen very many videos that do. Especially whenever you try to go with war of these guys, because they're literally just all rivers and mountains. And you just got the little Chinese, you know, cavalry divisions, infantry divisions. Although they are a pretty big powerhouse for what they are. Cuban tariffs is the only way. Ooh. Mexico might be going a little bit national populist, I think. Either that or totalist. Ooh, nope. Eternal autocrats, which they just have 0% popularity. That's fun. I actually do that one just because it's the nicer thing to do. I don't really think it affects anything. Could be wrong. Kaiser Dux is pretty in-depth. I'll go with this one, just because it's works for the USA. That means it benefits me, the CSA, more. Engine, Queen, Hunan. I don't really read these very much anymore since I've played this game for a pretty long while. This isn't my first rodeo. It's nothing I haven't read before. So I don't really stop to read them all that much unless it's a decision one, which case I just need to be clear. Yeah, I don't think you can ever win the Stanley Cup. Yeah. Should have gone with Chicago as our team, not Detroit. Progressive nominee. Socialist Party. Go with the Democratic Party, just because it makes the old Democratic Party lose power. Joe Smith. This one. Check up on all my neighboring countries. So they did go national populist. Market liberal. I think they start out as that though. Sometimes it does kind of trick you with that kind of, because say if you blame the SPA actually gains power, which I'm not quite sure how it works, but I guess it's kind of a we're the victim type thing. If you don't do that, then Panama just kind of goes crazy sometimes. Some people, I know at least one person who does this, will gather up all their troops and all of their airplanes and put them inside the area which they'll be playing as, but it doesn't really help because these are all US divisions. I think it'll probably... All in! It does kind of help if you're playing as the US, but with the amount of troops that you get, it kind of doesn't really matter all that too much. Either way, they all just teleport back to your capital. Either way, I believe. And if you're playing as some other nation, then they'll just get teleported back to the USA, and you'll get your own troops. It doesn't really help or hurt you. Same way with the same way with the planes. It doesn't really do much. And I haven't tried the Navy, but I'm assuming it's the same. It just gets chopped up the same way. Everybody gets equal rations. It doesn't matter where they are. And the USA should split apart just at 1937, a little bit afterwards, if not. One of my favorite things about Kaiser Ducks is that whenever you click on large cities like Boston or Paris or things like that, it will show you little, like, you know, special little art things, whereas base game and most other mods just have like a generic one. Let me see if I can find a generic one. I think it's around here somewhere in America. I'll keep the game going as I'm playing as it. One of these cities. It might be in Italy. Oh, look at that. Austria's having a war with Italy. They must be having that one fascist pope guy. Yep, there he is. Devious madman. It's very detailed with where in even Albania gets its own kind of who cares? Gets its own little description thing, and has their own focus tree, whereas in base game Italy doesn't have its own focus tree. So, you know, it's a little bit showing whenever in base game you have such little, like, you know, addition to stuff. I mean, they have Portugal, they have Greece, they have stuff like that, but I don't think there's any South American nations. I don't think Mexico has their own thing. I'm not sure if Canada does. Actually, yeah, Canada does. So if I can find like the most obscure country in this game. Here, let me look. Kingdom of India. I guess, yeah, this is the only part that's in Kingdom of India. Oh, this doesn't have its own focus tree. That's a surprise. Okay, now I'm gonna try to find one about Bhutan. Bhutan has its own focus tree, but all does not. Alright, it's not quite as in-depth as I thought it was, but it's still pretty in-depth. You know. I do not care about Liberia. Oh, Bohemia's in trouble. Uruguay has their own national focuses, and all these central things, Central American ones. I'm not really sure what's going on down here, but that's not my place to speak. Coup d'etat in Algiers. Great heat wave is over. It's just in time for the country to fall apart. Denmark has their own national focuses. I'm fairly certain these two do as well. Yes, they do. I'm gonna have to deal with the Great Depression in 40 days. Ireland does, Morocco does, Liberia does, know that. Abyssinia does. I don't think Somalia does have one. Madagascar has one. Look at that. It's Reinhard Heydrich, but also it's a Jewish settlement. It's a place for Jews to go and have a nice life outside of all the bigotry everywhere else in the world. A curse, but a also kind of a good thing about Kaiserducks and Kaiserreich is that there's so many countries to play as, but whenever there's 53 different countries in Asia alone, it does kind of it lags up the game a little bit. Like, I know it's cool and in-depth, but does Shaanxi really have to be its own little thing? About to mention that Yucatan has its own focus tree. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna go with Big Bill Haywood just 'cause it helps. It does give you some debuff. Yeah. I think whenever you split off of the CSA, but it does give you a larger buff. Like whenever they're in the beginning, which can be really useful to just have that kind of boost, especially whenever you're taking so much land. Like at the outset is so important. Really just waiting on the split to happen. Should be happening pretty soon. 1937 should be happening very soon. Yeah, after the inaugural address, it should be happening pretty soon. Actually, I think now that I have the inaugural address, I can go down. Yeah, there we go. Something you don't really want to skip. Gives you the chance to put the beginning in your favor. I don't really think we're going to have enough time to complete this one, but hopefully we do. Ooh, it might be close. Only 2 more days. Okay, there we go. That should, yeah, there we go. It's a good thing I didn't actually accidentally pick the other one. There we go. Alright, play as the CSA. The player really likes to do this a lot, where they'll just set up random stuff, a whole bunch of random little things. I'm not really sure why. It's usually best to just keep them all into 2 things. So yeah, take
Orders.
these. I'll put these.
Ready.
These. Make them their own thing. Set them here.
Attention.
Set
Orders.
these guys here, since this is going to be our biggest enemy as of time being.
Ready.
Set these guys.
Listen up. Ready.
Actually,
Orders.
wrong one.
Ready to move.
Gotta go into here. We'll be going right here. I'm just gonna show you the
Commands.
my lineup that I usually have.
Commands. Yes, sir. Listen up.
Okay. Since this is my largest line, I'm gonna have it at the front. It's gonna be my second most important one, and these are gonna be pretty much just gonna be defense. So I don't really like to push in that much until it's really needed.
Attention.
So take 2 of these guys
Commands.
and set them like this. All attack them.
All in.
Alright, so those guys are going there. They're going to be mostly defense, so I'm going to set them as barrel.
Ready, sir.
These guys are going to be mostly offense, so they're going to have those.
Yes, sir.
These guys are going to be a little bit of both, so they're going to get crossing.
Listen up.
I'm gonna start recruiting in Illinois. Oh, I still have the deadline to worry about. There goes the AUS, and the PSA should be soon. Yeah. Okay. It's usually best to accept these, just because the PSA really doesn't hurt that much, because you get the option to just like make peace with them and then have an election to see who wins, which you can just choose yourself, instead of having to slog through all of the Rockies and onto the western coast, which is a much better decision. But if you want to have that domination, go ahead. These never last, the peace between the CSA and the AUS. And it's really good to just, select the peace, just because whenever you do, the AUS almost never covers its border, because the AI doesn't detect that it's going to get an event soon that says that it has to declare war. So it'll leave its thing open. Let me turn this off. If that happens to you, just turn this off. So it'll leave its border open, like these guys will probably be moving soon, and then whenever you get the chance to declare war, like keep a whole bunch of reserves on here, usually some motorized divisions, like on the ends, like up here and down here, kind of, because that means that you can just go whoop before they have the time to respond to get back up here. Actually, because these will probably have guys down here who will attack your motorized division, it's usually best to just go like this. I follow down here and go into Des Moines, then follow up this river. You get a big chunk of land right there. If you can keep going, then keep going, but that's usually just what I do. These ones don't really matter. I don't use my Navy that much. Oh yeah, kind of forgot. I'm gonna set up my agency. The AI chose this one. Don't want to do that one. I'm going to be going down and doing the Army first. Where is it? There's the Navy Continental Army. Can be set my research already, which this one's okay, but I usually like to go with these ones more. This one's actually one of the best in the game. This is considered by some to be worse, but it's kind of fun to, roleplay as a nation that has mobile warfare or mass assault, either or. Superior firepower is one of the best in the game, but doesn't suit me all that well whenever playing as them. Actually, I'll try this game. This one is pretty good. The wobbly militarism isn't really that good. The centralist organization I haven't tried yet. This one's not very good. This one isn't very good. Actually, I think this one was the one that is good. Yeah, because it's got all the Tanks Revolution Union Army, stuff like that, where it goes Professional Red Army, Revolutionary Army, Red Republican Army. So this would be, these aren't in order for whatever reason, but they actually are. Where is it? It'd help a lot if that were the case. I don't know what I just picked there. I'm gonna go ahead and load a quick well, maybe, yeah, a 1 a.m. thing, which luckily it gives me that autosave. It's pretty close, because that's a very important decision, and not knowing what I just picked could really affect that. Oh. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with IWW instead of this. military factories, civilian factories. So I'll end the video once the war actually starts. I'm just kind of showing you the setup for it. Because it's usually part of the
Yes, sir.
one of the most important parts is the actual setup. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 things to go
Yes, sir.
there.
Commands. Listen up.
I'm gonna set the rest going here. So let me see.
Ready, sir.
Set one more.
Move out.
Just had the whole line covered. And then this line should be covered. In the Revolutionary Army. I'd actually do this one. Oh, never mind. The US changed their flag. These are both very good because I like to have the paratroopers because it's really useful, especially whenever you get down into this area where they can defend using these mountain ranges and all these things where you can just go and naval invade, do a combination of naval invade and paradrops to just take all the cities, and then they capitulate real easily. So I'm gonna go with that. So I usually go with CSA, but it'd be good to have a tutorial on paratroopers. So go ahead and lump that in. New England, don't need to worry about. It's gonna go head up. Just to help us with divisions on basic training. Oh yeah, sometimes you don't need some of these divisions. But it's good to have them anyways. Although the Red Guard, to keep you from getting confused, it's a lot easier to just kind of take these, and I think this is a mod that I have where it's just more icons. I'm not sure. Where's the one I'm looking for? Yeah, I can't find it. Just use this one. So you can separate them and make them distinct, so you don't confuse something that has this instead of, never mind, they're the exact same, but this one has has a lower supply. It's these usually just means that it gets it gets lowest priority equipment. So if you make new equipment, it's still gonna be getting the old ones until everyone else is ready to go. In which case, it's not really that good to have. So have them, delete. Oh, you gotta hit update every time. These are pretty good divisions. And the thing about deleting them, like, it's not very good for you, just because whenever you use this tool to recruit, it usually spawns those specific divisions or templates, and if you delete those templates, then it just won't spawn any. So don't do that. It'll be bad for you. Alright, I'm not in the video on that one. But I am right now. Next one.